What I'm going to talk about is specifically for Israel, and it's important for me to start with this because I think it's important for everybody that is here to know that every country has something that they have to build for themselves. What I said here, it's 8.5 million people country, small country. From these 8.5 million people, we have maybe potentially of 5.5, maybe 5.5 million people, because from the 8.5 we have religious people, we have Arabic people that most of them are not playing basketball, they are playing most of them soccer. By the way, remark, we have something like 3 or 4 soccer players in our national team, senior national team, 5, yeah? 5 from 11, yeah? So most of them are playing soccer and not basketball. So what's left is 5.5 million people that we have to choose from them, basketball players, and build national teams. Another thing that I want to say is that I'm going to show mainly about Israel national teams, what we did, and a little bit history. First of all, I was a national team coach from 2010 till 2014. I was a sport director for 3 years, 11 till 14. Unfortunately, from 14 till 15 or 16, the federation didn't have a sport director, and then Pini Gershon came and continued, and he's the sport director now, yeah? And the men's team, and Tanatan is for the women's team. And I'm saying this because Israeli young national teams, we had good tradition. We are not Serbia, but we had good tradition. Meaning, I'm very proud to say that we were always on level A, let's say top 10, top 12, okay? For years. Unfortunately, from 2006 till 2011, there was a fall. And when I say fall, on 2011, there was on a time scale 2011, if you looked at the situation, we were all on level B. Under 16, under 18, under 20, all our national team was on level B, which was a disaster for us as coaches, as basketball people. Although some of us were not in it, I was not in Israel, and but it was a disaster for us. Yeah, for the Israeli basketball, if you would have said something like this years ago, it was nobody would believe that it can happen. Then on 2012, we started a program with the region national teams, and we start all over again, and I will talk about it later. And then on 2014, and I think till now, 2 from our 3 national teams are in level B. Just something about under 20 that we are very proud of that. On 2000, we won silver medal. On 2004, we won silver medal. On 2017, we won silver medal. And on 2018, we won gold medal, which for us, it's something that we are very proud of that. Yeah? And I'm sure that what happened from 2012 and on with the under 20 national teams, that we qualified back to level A, and then we finished 6th in Europe, and then we finished 2nd in Europe, and then we finished 1st in Europe, will give us something in the senior national team in the coming years. The next, let's say 2, 3, 4 years, I think that we're going to have a much better senior teams that we had years ago. Something that is very important when you talk about these kind of things. As coaches, as sport directors, we want that minimum talents, that we will miss minimum talents, if it's possible to miss 0. It means not missing any talent in Israel. It's a mission. It's a very important point for us. B, once you find talents, try to maximize their potential. And I think that this is a coaching point, yeah? That how to maximize potential. If I'm talking about how we build our teams, we start on under 14, and we have 4 regions, and we have 1 national team. And we start with 120, 140 players. And on those under 14, when we are talking about 120 players on 4 regions, as I said, in Israel, it's a very small country. We can control it, okay? And we can move players from one side of the country to another side of the country easy. If you go from north to from the north to the south, yeah, it might take you max. Yeah, I'm not talking about Galil and Elat, yeah, but if I'm talking about normally it's 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, more or less like in Belgium, by the way. Who is from Belgium here? Yeah? So it's more or less like in Belgium, yeah? If I'm talking about size of country. We have those 4 teams from under 14, and we already have 1 team, under 14 national team. It means that on every region we have something like 20, 25 players, and in 1 team, national team, we have 20 players. It means already when they're under 14, we choose players for national team, okay? Then we go for under 15, that we have 30 players. Then we go for under 16. As you see, it's a different color because that's a team that already participates in European Championship, okay? So because it's cadets, okay? Then we started, and this is something that Pini add now, yeah? Under 17. It used to be, if you remember, that used to be once qualification and then European Championship. Now, it comes to situations that because some of the players that finish under 16, not all of them are good enough to immediately to go for the under 18. But we still want them to be in a federation program. So we build a under 17 team that will work during the whole season. Remark. Every time they were asking, who builds the player, clubs or national teams? Yeah. In Israel, till now, I can say, yeah, national teams. It's true that there are good clubs, there are good programs now in Israel, much better than it was. Yeah, we have 3, 4 clubs now, and I'm talking about youth programs that are doing great job. Yeah, but still, national teams or federation, it's the place that you build the top players. Under 18, again, under 18, so it's, you see, it's a different color because it's a team that goes to European Championship. And we got under 20 that I'll come later because in Israel, it's a different, it's a, I will not say difficult, but it's an age that usually we had problems with this age about practicing. Because, again, a remark, in Israel, when you become 18, you have to go 3 years to the army. Yeah? So we had to find solution for those elite sport people. How do we build a team with coaching stuff? It's important. Nenad said it, and you know, selection for players, it's important. Selection for coaches, it's extremely important. Just to let you know, in Israel, during the years, when I was coaching under 18 national team, I will not say that I was a top coach, yeah, but I was a first division coach. I would say it like this, and you know that in Israel, when you are a coach, a first division coach, you are a first division coach. But if you want to be a first division coach with a stamp that you are a coach, yeah, you have to beat Maccabi Tel Aviv at least once, okay? Okay, then they said, okay, that's a coach, okay? Okay? So I was a coach already, that I was coaching a lot, and I coached, and I beat Maccabi, as I told you, yeah? Yeah. So in Israel, we choose head coaches, almost all of them, I'm talking about under 20, 18, 16 national teams, you will find first division coaches. All of them, most of them, it's true, even now, yeah? All of them are first division coaches, okay? 2 assistant coaches, and 1 very important thing here. Why it's not working? It's here, yeah. 2 assistant coaches. 1 of the assistant coaches in the staff must be familiar with the age that he belongs to the team. Meaning, if one of the assistant, this is an under 16 team, yeah, one of the assistant coaches is coaching juniors, under 16. He has to know the league, he has to know the players, he has to know all the problems for this age, he has to know the coaches, he has the connections with the clubs. Yeah? A very, very important point practically. Yeah? That one of those assistant coaches is in the age that he is coaching national team. We as coaches, as Israeli coaches, I can say about myself, but I am sure that I'm talking for most of the coaches in Israel, we are putting the value of scouting and video is big. For sure, when you go to European Championship, which all the pressure that you have to handle with, yeah, no time, no big time and no long time for preparation. You need video coordinator, that the head coach will be free to coach basketball and not dealing with all this stuff around. And condition coach. A little bit about our national teams. Under 14, as I said, 4 centers, and you see that I wrote there 2 special sectors, and nowadays the federation is thinking about adding 2 regions or 2 centers, yeah, for these regions that I was talking about. For example, I don't know if you know, religious people cannot practice on Saturday. Jewish people cannot practice on Saturday. So the federation is thinking about finding solution for them. Yeah, 120 people, yeah, players, checked 250, go to 120, yeah, the regions that I told you. And here you can see all the tables about all those regions and all those under 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 20. This is how it goes. And as you see, this is the 4 regions, and this is the national team. Yeah? And when I say national team, it's the top under 14 players that we invest on them a little bit more already then.
Arik, sorry, they're playing some games, not just...
I'll come to that. Yeah. Yes, they do, but I'll come to that. Yeah? Women. Before I go to women national team, I have to say, honestly, I am less familiar with what they do in the women department, but I can tell you this. The government gave special money, yeah, to close the gap between men and women for a program of 10 years. Can I say the amount? Yeah. Big money, okay? Big money to close the gap, yeah, and to build more and more and more centers for women to close the gap between men and women. By the way, this is the name Athena. This is where the money goes, and they are in charge of sharing and giving the money for the federations, yeah, that they will use it. As you see, they start already in schools, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, yeah, with centers, 3 centers of under 14. Then they go to 15, 16, under 16 national team, under 18 national team, under 20. And here, we used to have an academy for men too. Against my thinkings, they decided to close the academy in Wingate, but that's a different subject. I don't want to go into that. In women, they have academy since they are 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. They have academy for women. Okay, here is the same table that I showed you before, but for women, a little bit goals. Okay. Okay. Find most suitable players, to find the best players that we can find, providing them working habits, providing him, and it's important point. This is important point. We used to sit down, many coaches, with meetings, and to write, and to find the DNA that we want that the Israeli national team players will play. After we wrote the DNA, which I'll come to that and I'll show you this, part of it, okay? After we had the profile of the Israeli basketball, not basketball player, Israeli basketball for national team that we want to play, then we wrote a profile of a basketball player that can play this system. Then we wrote a program. Again, DNA for Israeli basketball profile, DNA for Israeli basketball profile player, and then we wrote the program. Okay? That's, if you remember my first sentence that I said, that's for Israeli basketball. But you can do it for Belgian basketball, Croatian basketball, whatever, yeah? But for your players, for your basketball that you think that fits the players that you have in your country. Like I said on the court yesterday, we don't have big guys. So can we write that on our DNA we will say we want to play inside game? With whom? With whom? With our 160, 170, 180, 190? No. So we have to find a different way to play basketball and still to try to win games. Okay? Here you see that I wrote here a few points, not all of them, a few points of what we were looking for. Quickness, agility, and explosive, basketball, and I want to talk about why it's not working. Not. Oh. Okay. High percentage shot. We were looking for three-pointers. Why? Because that's our style. This is something that is going to be our style. Three-point shooters, players. Moving without the ball. 4 perimeter players, basketball. This is our style. 4 players that are playing in the perimeter. Yeah? This is the way that we want to play. Dribble, drive, way of playing with all the rules. You see this one? This one? I talked about it yesterday. Yes, we want to go with players to offensive rebound. It's a new point. It's a new point that we had. Pini came then, and as I said, we had a coach that used to coach in the academy. Yeah, he's assistant coach in the first division team, and their team is doing this even in the professional league. Yeah. So, but for us to go to offensive rebound, it's a new point. And because most of our game is pick and roll, our players has to be familiar with pick and roll as soon as we can. And as somebody asked me, how soon? I said, from 14 to 16, they have to start learning pick and roll. Because when they will be cadets, they have to know pick and roll. Okay? Defensive thing, this is something, and whoever followed our team in Chemnitz in Germany, we were pressing 40 minutes the whole tournament. It's easy to say, very hard to do. 40 minutes. So we need players that can press. We need them to play with trapping low post because we have mismatches there always. We need to have players that can play defense, yeah, on at least 2 or 3 positions, yeah. Defensive rebound, it's something that we add on every drill that we do. This is something that I wrote. You cannot be rich in tactic when you are poor in technique, and high-level basic fundamentals. It's a sentence that I think that every coach has to write it, yeah? Don't try to solve every problem that you have with tactic. No, don't do that, yeah? Improve your technique. If your technique will be high, then you will be able to use the tactic. And that's what we are trying to teach our players, that our technique, our skills, our fundamentals will be such in a high level, then we can use the tactic. This is about the player that can play what I wrote before, the Israeli basketball and DNA, okay? Defensively, offensively, okay? Again, high percentage shot player, good one-on-one player, because if you want to play dribble drive way, you need one-on-one players, okay? High basketball IQ, ball pressure, somebody that can put pressure on the ball. Again, how many of you saw the under 20 competition? Yeah? So if you saw the under 20 national team won the gold medal, but I can say that they were doing these kind of things. I cannot say perfect because it's never 100%, but really close to 100%. Most of the factors, 1 to 10, there were 7 and more, really. Very impressive, very impressive. I was sitting there and I was impressed, really. As you see, those 3 categories, physically, technically, tactically, but as I say always, everything is linked. Everything is linked to mentally. I said that without, you know, they used to ask the best player in the world, or I don't know if it was Kobe or Michael, okay? Which part of the body is the most important part for a basketball player? And everybody thought that he would say hands, legs, whatever. And he said, what above the shoulder, okay? So we all know that at the end of the day, if you are talking about top basketball players, they have to be strong mentally. And this is a factor that we have to take in consideration. A remark. All what I will talk from now on, or all what I talked before, and I allow myself that all what my previous speakers spoke before, coaches, sport directors, whatever, it's additional to our eyes. Yeah, we have eyes, we're coaches. We are sitting in a basketball court and we can say, that guy, he can be a player, okay? You said it to me about somebody. I said it yesterday about Abby, yeah? We have eyes, yeah? To make our opinion stronger or to find somebody that we didn't see with our eyes, we need all the scientific things or all the things that we show when we talk here. But don't underestimate your eyes, okay? I want to continue. When we were sitting and talking about the program, don't look too much at these numbers. Why? Why? We decided that this is going to be like this. You can decide differently. You can share it differently. Meaning, if I decide that this is going to be 40%, the coaching staff opinion about somebody, you can decide that it can be 20% from the 100% remark that you're going to give about a player. Okay? The same counts for the physical, the same counts for the mental. But it's important that you will have kind of an Excel sheet. That's how we did it. We made it on Excel sheet, and we accumulate this 40, 30, 30, and as I said, you can make it 20, 50, 30, whatever you think about it, yeah? But the total remark will be according to what you believe, okay? Now I go to a little bit some stuff, professional stuff, that we are checking when we check an under 14 player. Why do I check, and I said about 14 player? Connected to the program that I said before. Connected to the program that I said before. I'm looking for players that can finishing, you know, reverse layups, floaters, half a layup, all those things. We're looking for those players. Passing under pressure. Because we play a lot of pick and rolls, we need players that know how to pass. One-on-one. You see what I wrote here? Footwork, defense and offense. By the way, as I said it yesterday, I'm saying this again. I'm doing this as a senior coach. I'm doing this as a professional coach. I'm doing this when I coach national team. Every practice I have one-on-one. Every practice. Every practice. Yeah? It's extremely important. turn all these numerical situation, advantages, yeah? Shooting, technical, fundamental, 5-on-5, and I wrote here, sense and touch to the game. Sometimes you can see with players that they have it. They have it, yeah? They are doing things that you cannot teach, okay? You know, we have, and I will say his name because I love him like my son, okay? We have a player, Lior Eliyahu, okay, in Israel. He was playing for me when I won the silver medal in 2004. He was playing for me, okay? I always, first of all, he doesn't know the word pressure. He's not in pressure. He's never in pressure, okay? And second, he has something, he's moving without the ball. I don't think that he knows what he's going to do. So how could I know, okay? So how could I know? But he's a passer, unbelievable passer, unbelievable talent, yeah? Shooting very strange the ball, you know. איך קוראים ליווני שזורק ככה? מאולימפיאקוס. Prentezis. Like Prentezis is shooting the ball, you know, in a very strange way. And these are the players that we are looking for because these are unique players, these are special players. All the mental tests, and when I told you that we were sitting the coaches to write the DNA thing, we had a psychologist with a mental coach, and they had their stuff, and they made a list of things that they want to, like Nenad showed you before, they made a list of things that they want to check in the mental test for the players, okay? For example, learning. Let's take one thing, a desire to learn, or coachable, being coachable. Some of the players, some of the people, yeah, they don't want to learn. They said, we know everything, we don't want to learn. These players are not going to be there. They are not going to be there, yeah? And some of them, you see that they are hungry, they are really hungry to learn from you, okay? So I just take another, one subject from the mental test. Physical test. I wrote here, and I will show you later the table, the next one. But it's important for me to tell you, on 1999, we had a meeting in the federation. Most of the coaches, you know, we finish European championships. What do? We write reports, yeah, a report about the championship, evaluation about the championship. Every report was, we are too small, we are too slow, and we are not strong enough. Okay? So, what are we? Okay? And then, why I said, this that we are small, we cannot change. But why we cannot be stronger, we cannot be faster, we can. So we changed the ratio in basketball on practice, and basketball and physical things, the ratio. It used to be 80% basketball, 20% physical conditioning, yeah? We changed it to 35, 65, 40, 60, whatever, and results started to come. And in 2000, we won silver medal with that team, okay? Now, this is something that I can tell you that most of the top coaches in Israel understand, yeah, the value of conditioning. I'm not saying that it's only conditioning coach. It's about the way that we practice too in basketball, that I told you about, intensity, putting pressure on players, yeah? I'm making a lot of drills in basketball that Nenad is telling me, hey, it's a great conditioning drill, yeah? So sometimes when you understand the value and the importance of good conditioning, your practices are changing, yeah? And that's what we start to do. Here I wrote you some results about explosive, agility, 2-meter speed, yeah, endurance, and jumping leap. All these things for under 16, under 18, under 20. And I can tell you that these are results of Spanish teams. Why? Because on those days, Spain was, even now, but always Spain was high level on youth programs. Again, I'm coming back to what we did before. Yeah. By the way, 14 and 15 for us, it's one unit program. Okay. Those players that are starting under 14, the good ones continue to under 15. I stop here. You remember that I told you that on under 20, we have, how long do I have? 10 minutes. On under 20, I told you it's a difficult age in Israel. Nowadays, they found kind of an agreement with the army that the players of under 20 that belongs to the under 20 national team will practice every morning with the staff of the under 20 5 days a week. Yeah? They will do some education things voluntarily in schools, kind of soldiers, okay? And then they go to play basketball. Okay? So now, that's the reason I told you it's a new 6 weeks before the championship, they go to a camp. Like, 5 days a week, closed camp, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, etc. Practices. These are the subjects that we are working on mainly in the young national teams. I said 10. Okay. October, December, April, June, August, it's European Championships. And as you see, we cut it to 3 parts. Every two or three times a year, we make tests for them. 2 or 3 times a year, we make them tests. Okay? On June, we stop. Actually, we stop a little bit before the playoffs, because we don't want to disturb the playoffs of the under 16, under 18 for the teams. And then we start around 6-7 weeks before the championship. They go to a training camp in Wingate. Wingate is a sports center. As you see, we send under 14, 15 for at least 2 international tournaments in December and April. In Israel, we used to have problems with international experience because every trip, it's a trip. It's not going to a bus or a train from Belgium to Germany or from Belgium to France or from Belgium to Holland. No, it's money-wise and it's a trip, okay? So we start to combine. When I was the sport director, I tried to combine it to save a little bit money. So I sent teams. I had some connections in Belgium. I know here some people, okay? So I tried to send some national teams to Belgium. They play 3 games in Belgium, take a bus, going to Holland, going to Germany, going to France, but international experience. About the under 14. It's a remark that I wanted to put here. We bring those 4 regions 2 or 3 times a year together. Yeah? As you saw in December, in April, we bring them together. It's important for the coaches that they will see all the players in the country, and it's important for the players too. Yeah? That the players from the south, yeah, will see a player from Tel Aviv, which normally it's higher level. Yeah? So he will know for himself where is he standing from level point of view. Month program. They practice the under 14 regional twice a month. Every practice is between 2 to 3 hours, including conditioning. It means it's 1 hour 40, around 1 hour 40 basketball and 40-45 minutes conditioning. Okay? Under 14 national team is practicing twice weekends. It means normally it was or Saturday or Friday. Yeah? And the 3rd weekend they go for a training camp. They come on Friday and they leave on Saturday afternoon. And they have 3 or 4 practices, depends on the coach. Yes?
Sorry, the conditioning do you do before basketball practice or? Sometimes,
most of the time before, sometimes after. Okay? Okay? Yeah? And sometimes during, but most of the time it's before. The fourth weekend is off, okay? The same we do with under 15 like we did it with under 14. Daily practice is, this is how we build it. I go a little bit fast now.
באנדר 14 יש את המחנה, את המשחקים הבינלאומיים.
Okay. Can you click on physical or personal, please? Okay. It's important for me to show you a file of a player. Yeah? Every player has a file in the federation, and the file is, as you saw, personal, professional, medical, etc. So we write name, date of birth, club, coach. Now we go for the anthropometrical details: height, father's height, mother's height, yeah, hands length, all these anthropometrical details. Physical, as you saw. Professional. We're writing the professional points of every player, and we give him a remark, okay, or writing note about things that we think that we have to write notes. Yeah? Every player has it. Yeah? We have a bank of 120, 150 players that we have a file for them. Okay? Mental part with all the mental characteristics that the mental coach made the tests for him. You remember the test that we had for him? Okay? Summary, strong points to improve, technical target, physical target. This is the last one, and it's connected to what you said before, and you asked from Romania. Yeah? It's something that I saw. 1,000 players start to play basketball when they are 10 years old. 50 to 80 players left when they are 19 years old. By the way, don't take it as a disaster. No, it's a natural process. Yeah, some of this is natural. Okay. For every 100 players that we say that are talented when they are 10 years old. Okay. Look at the number. Make a senior. Now, I'm telling you this, it's part of it, it's natural, but I think that from all what we said, all three of us that we said, this is a number that we have to try to make it a little bit higher. This is our job. Yeah? That instead of 1 to 3, it will be 5%, 4%. Yeah? Yeah, male. By the way, I don't know if you know me? Yeah. Okay. I was coaching women national team too. So I'm familiar, bless you. So I'm familiar with women basketball too. With women it's even worse. With women it's even worse. Yeah? Yeah? And it's even earlier. Yeah? If I can say that 19 years old, yeah? With women it might be in 17 or 16 or 18 years old. Yeah? So I think that from all what we said, this is a number that we have to think about it, how to make it bigger and higher. Thank you very much. Questions?